Facebook was used to disrupt democracy around the globe.
I don't think any of us
More important issues around privacy, safety, and democracy.
Frontline investigates Facebook.
We didn't take a broad, and it was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
From now on, we're going to be Metaverse first.
In 2021, Mark Zuckerberg made one of the boldest bets in the history of Silicon Valley. He took the most powerful social media company on Earth, the platform used by nearly 3 billion people, and staked its entire identity on an idea that didn't fully exist yet. He renamed the company. He redirected billions of dollars. He told the world that the internet was about to change forever.
This is Meta Ray-Ban Display.
And then he spent the next 2 years losing more money than most nations produce in a year. This is the story of the Metaverse, how it captured the imagination of an industry, triggered a gold rush unlike anything seen since the dot-com era, and then quietly collapsed under the weight of its own ambition. To understand why Zuckerberg made this bet, you have to go back to where Facebook was in 2021. The company was under enormous pressure. Regulators in the United States and Europe were scrutinizing its power. Whistleblowers were leaking internal documents to the press. Younger users were abandoning the platform for TikTok and Instagram. And perhaps most significantly, Facebook had spent years building its empire on top of someone else's infrastructure, Apple's App Store and Google's Android ecosystem, which meant those companies had the power to change the rules at any moment. In fact, Apple already had. A privacy update in 2021 cost Meta an estimated $10 billion in advertising revenue in a single year. Zuckerberg needed a new frontier, something that Facebook, or whatever it would become, could own from the ground up. He found his answers in virtual reality. The idea wasn't new. Novelists and filmmakers had imagined immersive digital worlds for decades. The term metaverse itself came from a 1992 science fiction novel called Snow Crash, where characters plugged into a shared virtual universe to escape a crumbling physical world. But in the summer and fall of 2021, Zuckerberg became convinced that this concept wasn't just a useful metaphor, it was the actual future of the internet. In October of that year, he stood in front of the world and announced that Facebook was becoming Meta. The rebranding wasn't cosmetic, it was a declaration of intent. Zuckerberg described the metaverse as the successor to the mobile internet, a persistent, immersive digital world where people would work, socialize, play, and create. You wouldn't browse the internet, you would live inside it. The promotional video Meta released was cinematic and compelling. Digital avatars met in virtual offices, friends gathered in shared spaces across the continents. People attended concerts, visited museums, and collaborated in ways the physical world wouldn't allow. Zuckerberg talked about it with a quiet sincerity that suggested he genuinely believed this was inevitable. And for a brief, electric moment, much of the technology world believed it too. What followed was a frenzy. When the most valuable social media company on Earth plants its flag in a new direction, the rest of the industry pays attention. Within months of Meta's announcement, the metaverse had moved from a niche topic in tech circles to the dominant conversation in boardrooms, investment firms, and startup pitch decks across the world. The money poured in at a staggering scale. Major corporations rushed to establish a presence in virtual worlds. Nike filed trademarks for digital sneakers. Gucci sold a virtual bag on the gaming platform Roblox for more than $4,000, more than the physical version cost. JP Morgan opened a virtual lounge in a blockchain-based world called Decentraland. Walmart began exploring its own virtual experiences. Even fast food chains started planting flags in digital territory, as if securing a lot in a city that had not yet been built. The virtual real estate market became one of the stranger spectacles of the era. Platforms like Decentraland and The Sandbox were selling plots of digital land for hundreds of thousands of dollars. One plot adjacent to a virtual property of rapper Snoop Dogg sold for nearly $500,000. The total value of virtual land sold in 2021 crossed $400 million, Investors and speculators treated these coordinates in a digital environment as if they were beachfront property in Miami. Venture capital moved quickly too. Hundreds of metaverse-adjacent startups received funding. Companies building virtual workspaces, digital fashion, blockchain-based ownership systems, and VR hardware all attracted significant investment. The word metaverse appeared in thousands of investor filings, press releases, and earnings calls, often with little explanation of what it actually meant in practical terms. Microsoft announced it was bringing metaverse features to its Teams platform, imagining virtual meeting rooms where remote workers could collaborate as digital avatars. The gaming industry, which had long built persistent virtual worlds, repositioned its existing products as early versions of what Zuckerberg was promising. And at the center of it all was Meta, spending faster than almost any company in history on a single, unproven idea. The company's Reality Labs division, responsible for VR hardware and metaverse development, was burning through billions of dollars every quarter. In 2021 alone, it lost over $10 billion. Zuckerberg told investors this was just the beginning. The world, it seemed, was about to change. But there was a problem. Nobody had actually asked the users. By 2022, the first cracks were becoming impossible to ignore. Horizon Worlds, Meta's flagship virtual social platform, had launched with significant fanfare in late 2021. It was supposed to be the living proof of the metaverse vision, a place where millions of people would gather, build, and connect. The reality was considerably less inspiring. User numbers were far below internal targets. Reports emerged that the vast majority of virtual worlds built inside the platform had been visited by fewer than 50 people. The avatars lacked legs, a detail that became a surprisingly effective symbol for critics pointing out the gap between the vision and the product. Meta's own employees were reportedly not using the platform regularly enough, prompting internal memos urging staff to spend more time in the virtual world the company was betting everything on. The fundamental problem wasn't just the software, it was the hardware. Virtual reality headsets remained expensive, uncomfortable, and isolating. The MetaQuest, the company's consumer VR device, was the most accessible headset on the market. But even it required enough setup and physical tolerance to keep mainstream adoption out of reach. Users reported headaches, nausea, and fatigue after extended sessions. Wearing a headset in your living room remained a niche activity, not a daily habit. The average person had no compelling reason to strap a device to their face to attend a virtual meeting they could join with a single click on a laptop. The virtual land began to collapse. Properties that had sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars in late 2021 became nearly worthless within 18 months. Trading volume on platforms like Decentraland dropped by extraordinary percentages. The daily active user counts on these platforms, when they were finally examined closely, were shockingly small, in some cases numbering only in the hundreds on a given day, for platforms that had attracted hundreds of millions of dollars in investment. The corporations that had rushed in began to quietly walk back their commitments. The virtual offices went unstaffed. The digital fashion collections went unsold. The metaverse activations that had generated press releases in 2021 and 2022 were rarely mentioned again. There was also a broader cultural shift happening. While the metaverse was struggling to attract users, a different technology was demanding everyone's attention. In November 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT. Artificial intelligence had arrived in a form that was immediately useful to ordinary people, and the conversation in Silicon Valley began to pivot sharply. The metaverse's moment in the spotlight was ending before it had truly begun. The financial reckoning was severe. Between 2021 and 2023, Meta's Reality Labs division lost more than $40 billion. Meta's total stock price had dropped by more than 60% at its lowest point in 2022, erasing hundreds of billions in market value. Zuckerberg, who had been one of the wealthiest individuals on Earth, saw his personal fortune fall by tens of billions of dollars over the course of 1 year. The company responded with mass layoffs. In late 2022 and into 2023, Meta cut more than 20,000 jobs, some of the largest layoffs in the history of Silicon Valley. Employees who had joined the company to build the future found themselves suddenly without work. Across the industry, the retreat was broad. Microsoft, which had invested heavily in its own virtual and mixed reality ambitions, shut down its industrial metaverse unit and laid off the team responsible for it. HTC scaled back its enterprise VR ambitions. Dozens of metaverse startups that had raised money during the frenzy quietly shut down or pivoted toward AI. The virtual real estate market, which had seen breathless coverage in financial and tech media, effectively ceased to function as an investment vehicle. The speculators who had bought digital land hoping to flip it to the next buyer found there was no next buyer. And Zuckerberg himself began to shift his language. The word metaverse appeared less frequently in earnings calls. By 2023, Meta's stated priority had become artificial intelligence, building large language models, AI assistants, and tools that could be integrated into existing products. The company that had renamed itself after a virtual world was now racing to keep pace in an AI landscape being shaped by competitors who had never changed their names at all. It was one of the most dramatic pivots in modern corporate history. So what actually happened here? Was the metaverse simply a technology that arrived too early? A genuinely compelling vision that stumbled because the hardware wasn't ready and the timing was wrong? Or was it something more fundamental? A solution built for a problem most people didn't have? The honest answer is probably both. There's still real technology being developed in this space. Apple's Vision Pro, released in 2024, demonstrated that spatial computing can be genuinely impressive. VR and augmented reality continue to find real applications in medicine, engineering, and training. The underlying ideas that Zuckerberg articulated in 2021 haven't disappeared entirely. But the metaverse, as it was sold, as the inevitable next chapter of the internet, as the platform that would replace social media and the smartphone, that version of the story has not materialized. The billions of dollars spent on virtual offices, digital land, and legless avatars did not build the future. They built an elaborate demonstration of how quickly capital can chase a vision before asking whether anyone actually wants to live inside it. Mark Zuckerberg made a bold bet. He was wrong about the timing, wrong about the demand, and arguably wrong about the product. But he survived it. Meta rebuilt around AI, recovered its stock price, and remained one of the most powerful companies in the world. The investors who bought virtual land, the startups that burned through their funding, and the thousands of workers who lost their jobs when the dream contracted, they were less fortunate. The metaverse is not dead, but its first chapter ended as so many great technological bets do, with a lesson that even the most powerful person in Silicon Valley cannot simply will the future into existence. It has to want to exist on its own.